I was so worried I was going to, after all of that, forget to hit live. So we're live. And I just want to be honest and say, I've been following you all season. I am personally like just excited to talk to you, chat with you. As soon as I did this, I reached out to you first. I was like, if she can spare 20 minutes, I will take those 20 minutes and I will love those 20 minutes. So thank you so much. You're extremely busy. You have so much going on. And I love talking to women in sports, Black women in sports. This makes it better. So thank you for chatting with me and like giving me your time.
No problem. I know like sometimes things are crazy, but I'm glad we were able to make it work. For sure.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And for those of you that don't know, she is very, very, very busy and very, very blessed. So shout out to you. So this is all about our Steelers, and there's so much going on. I have so many feelings, most days positive, some moments negative. Overall, this is my team. I'm in it. Here we are. So how do you feel this season has gone? Like, do you feel like, I'll be honest, I am not really shocked about the record. There's some other things that have shocked me, but not the record per se. But how are you feeling about this season?
Yeah, they ended what I always say all the time when people ask me, what's your season prediction? How do you think, how many wins, how many losses? And I said, for me, the bare minimum every single season for the Pittsburgh Steelers is 10-7. It is 10-7 at the bottom. Like that is it. They have to meet that standard. And everything else above that, great. But if you don't win 10 games, you have a difficult time getting in the playoffs in the AFC. Yeah. So 10 games is the minimum for me. That is what, like, we were on pace to do better than that. And everyone in the entire country knew that second half of that schedule was extremely difficult. And especially those last, 5 games? Well, the last 5 games, 6 games, I don't know, whatever. Like, yeah, that second half of the season when all your division opponents were there, and I think everyone saw that level of difficulty there. Did I expect us to perform that way? No. But did I anticipate 7 losses in a season? Yes. 5 in a row? No. But yeah, I am comfortable with 7 losses in a season, but the style in which they happened, you don't want to see, especially
right. I agree. Is there anything that surprised you this year? So this is hard for me because I feel like you're probably like me in the sense that like you have certain expectations and certain things you're kind of like, oh, well, okay, here we go with this again. But was there anything that you were like, that thing actually really surprised me that it looked like that? Because the offense, I didn't expect it to be great. I'm actually shocked that it's like, sometimes I don't know what it is. The HB tosses piss me off. Like there's some things where I'm like, does Cordell Patterson have a pitch count? Like so I'm just wondering how you see it when you're watching.
The things that shocked me were more so on the defense than the offense.
Okay.
The Eagles game shocked the heck out of me. That time of possession thing where they couldn't get off the field shocked me.
Yeah, we got twice in the second half.
Yeah, so I think when the defense has its down days, that's when I'm shocked. And to me, there've been more than one. And those are the things that can't happen because our offense doesn't have its rhythm. It seemed like we were getting an identity, getting a rhythm, and then so when the defense fails us, and however you want to look at it or how you want to call it, when the defense doesn't show up, that's when I'm shocked and surprised because they've been this dominant force. They've been the thing that takes the ball away. When you leave a game, takeaways or sacks, like that's shocking to me. So I can't say that the offense is that because it still hadn't really, to me, been a cohesive unit this whole season.
I think I got a false sense of hope where I think it was like the Bengals because we scored all those points. Yeah, and then I felt like there's another game where I was kind of like, maybe we have found something. And then it was almost like everything I thought. We didn't.
And it's still there. I just don't know. Like, I don't know what goes into the preparation as far as like game planning for these teams. I know it does involve in what the defense gives you,
True.
and
True.
like maybe you can't go into a Bengals game with the exact same game plan because they've seen it, right?
Yeah.
So, but distributing the ball is so important to me with this offense and getting multiple guys involved, and
Mm-hmm.
that we haven't been able to go back to that bothers me a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, and our offensive line to me hasn't been playing as strong, but those are things that, just kind of I scratch my head at.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anything okay, so what do you think the strength is of this team? I think we can probably both agree it's the defense. I think that we can agree with that. But what about like do you think it's the defensive line, linebackers? It's not our secondary, but like where in that defense do you think? And like, well, you might disagree with me, but if you think it's the secondary, go for it. But where do you think the strength is of this defense?
Yeah, I am freshly renewed in the defensive line. Not that I thought they were horrible, but again, like we had some games that just were not good defensively. So I am when you are just constantly good, when you have down days, it's just weird. It's just really, really
Weird.
weird. So I think our linebacker group core is solid. I think our D line is good as well. I love our safeties. Of course,
Safety.
everybody knows how I feel about Minka Fitzpatrick, but Deshaun Elliott was just a significant piece, and I love his tackling. He's just been so efficient there, and so when we have a down day without him on the field, I'm a little bit like I understand because I see his value, but when we have a bad day with him on the field, I'm like, what's going on? And
You're
I'm not
concerned.
saying
Yeah.
it's to blame him. I'm just
No, it's
saying
just
as a
yeah.
unit, like we need to be playing better, whether it's communicating, play calling. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I think from the front, it kind of is like the D line. You got your pass rushers, you're in the rest of the linebacking group, and then it kind of have a hard time putting the safeties right above the DBs. I mean, the secondary, but I don't know. I got the wrinkle. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
I feel
'cause-
well, so I was talking to somebody, like one of my friends offline,
yeah,
and she said something because I used to say this to her because she was like learning football. And she said, the one thing you used to say to me was that in order for a defense to be good, it's going to depend on the flow of the offense. Because I'm like trying to teach her. And she said, if I take your logic that you used to tell me, and if I look at your offense, they could actually be hindering part of the defense just because it's a 3-and-out. It's a 3-and-out. It's a 3-and-out. And so it's like the time it's taking you to like talk to your coaches and get there, it's like by the time you're there and you're like, okay, that's the problem. Okay, thank you. It's like there's so much happening so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why for me, I always say, and I usually tweet, I'm like, I know the defense is giving up yards. I know. I also know they've been on the field for a very long time. So it's like this weird balance for me when I'm watching the games. But so yeah, I agree with you. It's just, here we are. Here we are. What do you think our biggest weaknesses?
Our biggest weakness. I feel like our biggest weakness. Ugh.
I feel like my opinion would be I feel like our offensive line sometimes is if they're good, they're good, but if they're not, we all know they're not good that game.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. Yeah. Sorry.
but no, yeah, I'm talking while you think just to see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
The offensive line, to me, the last few weeks has just gone, in a different direction. But in the beginning, we were having different offensive lineups every week. So it's like we finally found like this cohesive group of guys that's going to be here. And Dan Moore, who was playing phenomenal to me, he was one of those pieces that was able to stay healthy. And then like we get to the end of this season and it's like 65, who are you? I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on with Dan Moore, but he's playing to me differently than he was in the beginning of the season. So in my mind, okay, maybe something is wrong. Maybe physically something is wrong with him.
I feel like we went through that with Broderick Jones a little bit too. Like there was a moment this year he's better. But I remember I feel like last year there's moments where we were like, oh, okay, and then there was moments where we were like, is he hurt? Did he hurt?
In the beginning of the year, I think he did have some issues with his arm. He was like wearing a brace at one point. So the beginning of the year, there were some issues with Broderick. There absolutely was. Like, it wasn't all clean. I feel like he's progressed and he's gotten better. And then, I couldn't even I don't know why. Well, I have an idea. They didn't like Dan Moore. I'm like, well, you can't complain about Dan Moore because he's doing his job and like he's not having issues. But now it's like, I'm like, Trey Henderson had a field day on him, and I'm just like, 65, you might want to watch it back because I think they were just waiting for a moment to just pounce on him, and he definitely gave him something to talk about in the last.
Seriously, yeah, seriously. And you know what? I forgot. Shame on me. My favorite player on the team right now is Chris Boswell. He is the strength. My bad. Like I missed
Chris Boswell.
Yes, I missed my opportunity to give him that shout out because he has actually won us 2 games on his points alone. And so I need to give him his just due. So shout out to Boz. Like keep doing you, Boz. Just keep doing you.
Boswell is a staple. Like he's the staple of that team. And I'm just so happy. I hate it. I hate that Justin Tucker had to quote unquote fall off for Chris Boswell to get his recognition, whether it's Pro Bowl. He's been a Pro Bowl before, but whether it's Pro Bowl, All Pro, like Boswell's been there. He's been that guy, and I'm so thankful and grateful. And it's great to see him get that recognition from the league and his peers. So I'm happy for Boswell.
Yeah, I hope Justin Tucker has himself an awful day on Saturday. Kudos.
I hope Justin decides to miss some kicks.
Yeah, I hope he forgets a couple of things, or his footing is a little bit off, or he's still whatever.
Not ideal conditions for him. I would love that. Justin.
He's a Texas Longhorn, but at this point on Saturday, he is not. He is on the other team. He's on the other team with the other team's jersey on. So, is there any teams? Okay, so I'm going to ask this. This is kind of, I feel like whatever, but is there any team you want to avoid in the playoffs that you, as like, once we get past the Ravens, we already know how this is lined up because we know how this is lined up. But if you could, is there any team that you would say this team matches up perfectly against the Steelers? And it would be great if we could just avoid them until the AFC Championship game, or just like altogether, if somebody would take care of them. That would be great.
Yeah, it's the teams that have had our number over the last couple of matches is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. And these are the 2 top teams. So if you can get a playoff win under your belt with a Ravens win, and narrative wise, the team I don't want to face at all, just for the narrative alone, and I don't want the drama, and I don't want it to be this media thing, is the Denver Broncos.
I agree.
I don't want it to be this Russ and Sean Payton fiasco. Like I really thought the league was trying to set this up so that the Steelers to play in the first round. I'm just thankful it didn't happen because I don't want that. So if that's the one thing I'm truly trying to avoid, is especially from the media aspect, is Sean Payton and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, we're tired.
We avoided it in the beginning of the season because we had Justin Fields starting at QB, so that was dead. And I just don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I agree. So, okay. So it is 3 minutes after the Super Bowl. The Steelers have won the Super Bowl. And I get you on the phone and I'm like, girl, we did it. I don't know how, I don't know what, but like we did it. And I said to you, like, what would be your reason why the Steelers would win the Super Bowl? Like, what would be something that you would say this had to go right for the Steelers to win the Super Bowl?
I might automatically go to the defense. The defense will be taking the ball away. They'll be making the special teams will be doing their special teams thing that they've done throughout the season.
Yes, they've been really good this year.
All 3 phases, right? Yeah. Of course, offense would be taking advantage of those takeaways. So it would have to be a collective effort. Like if they won this game. So I would be so ecstatic for all 3 phases of that game to come together, to just come together and produce that Lombardi.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Who would you want? Who would be your ideal Super Bowl? Which NFC team would you be like, this is kind of cool. This would kind of be a cool matchup for the Steelers. I selfishly want to say the Eagles.
I mean,
just because it'd be the Battle of Pennsylvania.
A Pennsylvania Super Bowl would be cool. But the last Super Bowl was Green Bay, so like that would be a nice rematch, right? A rematch.
Yeah.
And who else is coming out of the NFC? I don't even know the Lions.
They're Vikings, Lions, Eagles, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Rams.
Yeah.
I forget Did I say Vikings?
None of those really move me. Like, I don't know. It's nothing that yeah, I don't know. It's just nothing over
and the Commanders. The Commanders. That's the other team. Yeah.
You know what? I would like, out of all those QBs, only 2 of them are black, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are the black QBs? I'll say let's do black.
Not you sounding like me. That's what I would say. I'm like, if I can't choose, is anybody black?
Like the Commanders, let's take or the Eagles against the Steelers.
Yeah.
We gotta take advantage of it when we can get them. The last one was what? Patrick Mahomes and
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Or was it the first one? Hopefully it wasn't the first one. It was just the last.
I hope that wasn't the first ever.
I feel like it was. Hopefully not.
I can't remember that far back. I can barely remember what happened about a few hours ago because the weather is getting weird here and everyone's freaking out because that's what we do here in the South. We're like, snow? Wait a second. Like we have to still function and it's snowing. So here we go.
I don't talk about it. I have plenty of it outside my window. So
yeah.
I came home
I want to ask you just something just as a Steelers fan. Is there anything, so the playoffs are starting and we all know there's going to be new fans watching our team, new fans that will give us their opinion, new fans that will be like, this is they won't know anything about how we operate. So I always say we play boring football because we usually win games based on defense. Like that is our agenda. That's what we do. That's what we pride ourselves on. But what would you say for a fan that was first time watching the Steelers? What would you want them to know about Pittsburgh and watching us play? Like, what would you want their expectation to be?
I would want their expectation to be just really enjoy it. Like enjoy again all 3 phases. Because when they make plays on all 3 phases, it just like cohesively. And I would want to show you an element that's not on television because to me, I like to be there and I like to see how the guys interact and their interaction to me just like shows me so much more. But yeah, just enjoy all 3 phases. Look at how they celebrate each other and kind of grasping that. But then also like one thing that I really enjoy when I see Russell out there is the changes that he makes at the line of scrimmage, the cadences, the things that, he tries to do. I like seeing leadership. If it's on the offensive side or defensive side, I love seeing leadership. So those are some of the things that I probably point out.
Yeah. What do you notice? What is one thing you notice on the sideline that we would never know because we don't ever get to see our sideline on TV almost ever?
Yeah, that's true.
And, unless George Pickens is doing something, we don't really ever get to see the Steelers sideline.
It's very true. But yeah, like I remember I went to the Ravens game when they were in Baltimore last. And I remember seeing Calvin Austin get up and go over and have a conversation with Russell. And I was like, okay, next drive, 19's getting the ball. And I think they went to him at least 2 times on that drive.
Okay.
So it's just like the little things where you watch the communication, you see, who talks, if Russell comes over and talks, if Pat comes over and talks, like those lines of communication where they're communicating because they want to change something and they want to give Russ some insight or look, my guy is not doing this, or if such and such is on me, I got it. Those things of communication you get to see, although I can't hear it.
Right.
You get an idea of like, okay, they're communicating, so something could change here. And I love it. I love it. Even on the defensive side, you see it. I remember there's times where like Patrick Queen is so pissed, like, what the heck? He's so mad when he comes off the field and, either they got scored on or they didn't do as anticipated. And, they come and they make those adjustments. They watch that film. They watch they get their tablets and they make the plays. I love watching them celebrate. I love when they get a turnover or a sack or a fumble or a touchdown, how they celebrate, how everyone comes over, hits them in the head, all the various coaches come over. I love watching them celebrate each other so much.
I love that. I was talking to Packers fan that I had, and I said something. I was like, I'm not like an X's and O's girl. I'm not going to break down film. And I was like, I like all the other things. And he was like, I'm the same. He called it a logistics watcher. He's like, I like all the logistical things that are happening. Like you said, changing the play of the line of scrimmage, what's going on the sideline. Who's the first guy that goes up to you when you did something wrong? Who's the guy? That's how I am. So it wouldn't be a Steelers episode. And I will, after I ask you this question, we'll end it. I'll punt it back to you to tell me anything and tell us all the places you're at. And you will not be shocked at this question. But what do you think about Tyreek Hill to the Steelers? Just kidding.
I don't think it will happen. However, that's cool. I'm cool with a receiver that wants to be in that environment. If you are comfortable there, I know there's plenty of guys that probably want to be coached by Mike Tomlin, but also
who doesn't want to be coached by Mike T?
Guys that probably left this organization but there are guys that left the organization, and it may or be not. It may just be a money thing, right? That obviously doesn't have much to do with Mike Tomlin. He doesn't control how much money you get paid. But there's some guys that might have bad blood against Mike Tomlin that maybe haven't spoken out about it, but overall, yes, but will they pay him what he would want to be paid? And, pick up his contract, whatever it is. I don't know the money. But the reality is in Pittsburgh, offensively, if you're coming over here, you better be willing to take some type of cut, whether it's in the guaranteed department or something, because the Steelers are known to just kind of be a little tight. So
look at the facility. Look at the locker room. Was that we were rated like the worst locker rooms or something?
Yeah, the facilities are not it. I remember when I first talked to Patrick Queen, he was like, "Yeah, the Ravens got us on the locker room." Because I was trying to get him. I was like, what can we say? You're over here. What's better? Because he had that whole food thing, and I was like, well, that was a lie because I live in Maryland, and I was like, I hear you, but apparently he's not a big seafood guy, so he's just like, yeah.
Interesting.
That's what he said, but we didn't want to go too deep because they definitely have them beat on the facility part.
And shout out to Patrick Queen.
Uniforms. I was like, our uniforms are fire though.
Uniforms are fire, logos fire, field is fire, stadium's fire, view is fire. And
the city view, it's awesome. I do have to credit the Ravens. I do even when you show their stadium on television, they have the graphics, their screen. It is a nice. It gives you a nice entertainment vibe. And I think Pittsburgh could definitely step it up in that department. They got some work to do. Art in them. They have some work money they need to put in to kind of get with the times, I'll say.
Yes. So have you talked to Patrick Queen since after he experienced his first Renegade?
I haven't talked to him. No.
Okay. Because I remember that was a big thing. He wanted to have that first experience, but I didn't know if there was ever a follow up.
I did capture it, so I have it on video.
You do,
but I haven't physically talked to him
about it. To see if it was everything he thought it would be, and even
I think someone asked him about it. Maybe the media people did, but I haven't. I don't even know what his response was. But but when I saw, it appeared that he got goosebumps from when I recorded.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So they were going up to him, and he went you could see on the video. He's like,
"Oh, is that? What's funny? Now I thought he was signaling something else, but it could have been that."
I'm pretty sure he said he had goosebumps, but I haven't verified it, but I will.
I just remember on your video, as soon as it came on, I could see his head kind of being like, this is the moment. And he was just kind of taking it all in. So shout out to Renegade. Nothing is better. And then, sometimes on Twitter when we're like, oh no, Renegade again. Oh, okay. Come on, defense. We got this.
Look, it's a magical thing. It may sound corny or cliche, but it can be magical.
I am for whatever it takes to win football games. If you want me to play Renegade for you, I will play you Renegade. I don't care. If you want to hear Beyonce, on whatever. I will play that for you too, whatever it takes to get to win. So let people know where they can find you. You are so active, so busy, so I love just watching you do different things. I love when people are extremely creative and knowledgeable about what they're doing, because my brain only goes so far. But when I see other people like grinding and doing like cool things, I'm like, I love this. So that's the first reason why I needed to talk to you. But yeah, let people know where to find you. Most people will know who you are, but you know.
Well, look, a lot of people don't, so it's perfectly fine. One, I want to thank you for being patient with me and getting me on. So it's a pleasure, and it's always nice to talk to Steelers women. I talk to guys all the time, so I appreciate you. But D Love Sports, I am D Love Sports on every platform, Twitter. If you're on the Playback TV app, if you're not on the Playback TV app, just come over to my Twitter. You can see the link. We do the Sports and Coffee show every morning with my guy Tip, who's also
he did the Texans.
Yeah. So he's on there with us, Sports and Coffee. So D Love Sports on all platforms. That's Instagram, that's Twitter. That is also my YouTube channel name as well. So come join us. Things will be, as we're moving into the end of this, you'll see more other things. I'm trying to get a little bit more involved in the NBA. The UFL will be coming up, which is spring football, and we love that. And so just stay tuned. And we have a bunch of events. The Superbowl should be a great time for content. So
yeah, I love that. Well, I appreciate you as always. And like I said at the beginning of this, like anytime I can talk to a Black woman that is a Steelers fan and we can just chat about our team, I love that. And we all see different things. But at the end of the day, we don't care what we're seeing. We just want to win. We just need a W at the end of the game.
I love you.
We just need a W. That's it. Well, thank you so much. And just for anybody listening, I will put all of her information in the description. So don't feel the need to like write it down. It will be in the description. Just drop it down. I will stalk her on all the places and give you a cute little copy paste link so that you can just click it and find all of her information. So anyways, thank you, Dee. I appreciate you. And hopefully we'll chat again about who knows.
We'll absolutely chat again. So sooner than later.
Yes, we'll make it happen. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.